Hello there. If you work in a warehouse, then this is for you. Today, we're going to learn some really important English for talking about numbers and measurements. Ready? Let's get started. If the answer is yes, you are in the right place. We're here to help you feel much more confident when you're speaking English on the job. So here's our plan for today. First, we'll talk about why numbers are so important. Then, we'll learn some new words for measuring. After that, we'll practice asking questions and look at some real conversations. And finally, we'll do a quick review of everything. Okay, let's start with part 1. In a warehouse, numbers are everything. Seriously. Getting them right helps you do a good job. And even more important, it keeps you and everyone around you safe. So always remember to check your numbers. Moving on to part 2. Now we're going to learn some key words for measuring all the different things you see in a warehouse. Our very first word is weight. So what is weight? It's simply how heavy something is. For example, you could say, the box has a weight of 10 kilograms. Next up, dimensions. Now, this might sound like a big word, but it just means the size of something. You know, its length, its width, and its height. Knowing the dimensions is super important to make sure boxes will actually fit on the shelves or in the trucks. Now, this one is really important, the expiry date. This is the date that tells you when something is no longer good to use. You'll see this a lot with food. You always want to check the expiry date for safety. Our next word is quantity, and all this means is how many. That's it. So if your supervisor asks you, what's the quantity? You can answer, the quantity is 5 boxes. Easy, right? And our last new word is units. Units are what we use with the numbers. For weight, we use units like kilograms or kg. For length, we use units like centimeters or cm. They work together. You're doing great. So for part 3, let's use our new words to ask some important questions at work. This is exactly how you get the information you need to do your job well. So if you need to know how heavy a box is, this is what you can ask. Let's say it nice and slow. What's the weight of this box? And the answer can be really simple. Just the number and the unit. Like this, 15 kilograms. Clear and easy to understand. Now to find out the size of something, maybe a pallet, you can ask this simple question. What are the dimensions? And here's how someone might answer, giving you the length and the width. 120 by 80 centimeters. All right, let's look at part 4. Now we're going to see how these questions and answers actually sound in a real conversation you might have at work. So let's say you need to measure something. You can ask a colleague for a tool, just like this. Do you have a measuring tape? And your coworker can give you a friendly, helpful answer like this one. Yes, here you go. Okay, here is another super important question for safety. You need to know how much weight a shelf can hold. So you ask, what's the weight limit for this shelf? And you'll get a nice, clear answer. This is so important for keeping everyone safe. For example, 200 kilograms. We've made it to our last section. Let's take a moment and quickly go over the important questions that we've learned today. Let's read these important questions one last time. Try to remember them for your job. What's the weight? What are the dimensions? When does this expire? Do you have a measuring tape? And what's the weight limit? Excellent work. Remember, the best way to learn is to practice. So think about it. What will you need to ask about at work tomorrow? Try to use these questions. You can do it. Thanks for watching.